morning, everyone. Welcome to Keep It Solid. I am Solid Blue Sister, and today is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. I apologize. I am 5 minutes late. But it's the West Coast, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, y'all. So, um, good morning. Good morning to you. Welcome. So, today, everyone, I want to talk about boundaries. And people have a problem with boundaries. And I am one for trying to maintain my boundaries. I am one who I do draw a line in the sand. I do draw that line in the sand. And I think boundaries are important. Now, I've talked about boundaries a lot on my show, My Turn to Talk, and had a pretty good dialogue going on. But people today, they want to push those boundaries. People want to touch you when you don't want to be touched. People, want to get up close on you in the grocery store. You know, um, they want to invite themselves into your life when they were not invited. And why do people do that? Why do people want to cross your boundaries? Now, I said each person must decide where they draw the line between preserving their privacy, at least from those whom they are not intimate, and letting others in. To maintain those lines, they erect boundaries and work to preserve them. Some individuals are more vigilant and even aggressive about their firewalls, which can lead to discomfort, if not conflict, with others. But in general, setting healthy boundaries can be a way of preserving one's mental health and well being. Now, they said that some people can be aggressive with those firewalls. And I will admit, I am one of those people who I can, become aggressive. I can become aggressive with my firewall because people do things and say things that they shouldn't. Do I do that? Yep. I'm not perfect. But I've learned over the years, and as I've gotten older, that there are some boundaries you just don't cross. There are some things that you just don't say. There are some things you just don't do. Some people may think that making out in public is okay. Me personally, I don't like to see people making out in public. I don't want to do it. I don't want it in my face. Take that someplace else. You want to call me a prude? Call me a prude. Something I don't like. I don't like people getting up on me when I'm in line, in any line. Can you take a step back? This was, before COVID. Can you step back some? Some people want to be up on you. You have those guys that want to talk to girls, and girls are just not into you. They're not interested, and they try to be nice, and they just keep pushing. They keep pushing, and they're up in your face. But on the flip side, you have some women who do the same thing to men. They do the same thing to men. They're up in your face. And people try to be polite. And when you try to be polite and people just keep pushing, then finally, when you get aggressive, people get upset. Why is that? Why is it that people just cannot understand that um, boundaries matter? Boundaries are something that everyone needs. Children need boundaries from adults. Husbands need boundaries from their wives. Wives need boundaries from their husbands. Teachers need boundaries from their students. Students need boundaries from their teachers. Employees need boundaries from their employers. If the clock stops at 5 o'clock, don't call me at 8 o'clock at night asking a question about something that I'm not getting paid to answer at 8 o'clock at night. And we have a problem with boundaries right now, where people are just not understanding that sometimes if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, for some people, you push away friendships. You push away relationships. You push away people who could have been in your life, who you probably wanted in your life, but you're keeping them at a distance now because they just keep pushing. Now, I, for one, don't like pushy people. Hi, Sonny. How are you this morning? I for one, don't like pushy people. I cannot stand them. And there are some people that I know, some friends that are pushy, and I've told a couple of them that they're pushy. You know, some of them laughed it off. Some of them didn't think it was, a big deal. You know, but for me, it is. Especially when I tell you seriously, you're pushy. I'm the type of person who, over time, um, and it started when I was younger, because I had to put up boundaries. But, you know, why do people feel that they can come into your world when they were not invited? Now, I have a rule. I've read a lot on this, and some people think I'm wrong, but I've read stories. I have read stories. I have read stories. I have heard things. People have told me these things. I have sat back and I have watched. And I'm talking about people who allow other people to live with them. I am talking about people who have opened their home to people who say, you know, can I just stay a week? You know, can I just stay until I find a job? Can I stay until, I figure things out? What the hell does that mean, until you figure things out? What? I've asked that before. What the hell does that mean, until you figure things out? And then the next thing you know is those people who were supposed to stay for a week, 2 weeks, it's a month, it's 6 months, it's a year. They've crossed so many boundaries in your home. They don't contribute. They're messy. They invite other people over. They use your things. They break your things. They eat your food. They don't replace it. And then when you get upset, they're telling you, chill. What's the big deal? Whatever. Meanwhile, they're living off of you. And you've allowed people to cross these boundaries because you didn't put their ass out. You have family members that do this, and you have friends that do this. And this is why I have a rule. Do not ask to live with me. Do not ask to stay with me. If I invite you, you are invited for a certain amount of time, and you will leave. If you need to stay longer, you go to a hotel. If you're still trying to figure yourself out, talk to a therapist. But you're not going to do it with me. And I understand that when you're with family and friends, or I'm sorry, I understand that when your family and your friends, especially your family, when they have issues. Now, when I was younger and before I got married, before I had children, it was, oh, you have the room. You're single. You're not married. You can afford it. You can let them stay with you. No, 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 no. You take them in. And I have seen people bounce from house, same people bouncing from house to house to house to house to house. And each time they were put out. Oh, so the person you just kicked out, you want them to come and stay with me. Mm-mm. Or you just got kicked out of this person's house, and you think you're going to come stay with me? Mm-mm. And people would get upset with me because I would say no. But I didn't care because I was maintaining my mental health from you. I was protecting my space. And I said no. And I didn't care if you got upset. Just like those friends who conveniently forget their wallet when you go out to eat. Oh, well, can you just cover me? No. Go home. get it, have somebody send you some money, Cash App you, Zelle you, Venmo, whatever. I'm not doing it. Don't assume that I can pay your meal. Don't assume that I can afford it. You don't know what my finances look like. Or when you go out to eat and you go out with a group of people and they say, "Oh, we'll split it evenly. It may be 4 of you, 6 of you, 8 of you, whatever, 9, 10, whatever. We'll split the bill evenly." I'm not splitting a bill evenly if we all didn't have about the same amount. I was someplace last year in 2024 where one person said, "Let's split the bill evenly." And another person said, "Well, no, because I didn't get whatever." And I got the most stuff. And I said, "No, I got whatever. I'll pay what I got." It was no big deal to me. I was not going to split that bill evenly anyway. And there are times when I'm out with people, and if it's a big group, I'll say at the beginning, these are separate bills. These are separate tabs. And I've had people look at me, or some people who will say, "Well, no, we'll split." No, no, because I know what I'm getting. I'm not going to pay for your extravagance if I'm only getting this. People get upset, but you're setting those boundaries. And don't be afraid to set those boundaries. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to let people get pissed off at you. Because you know what? At the end of the day, when you're in your Zen moment or whatever you are, you don't have to worry about them. You don't have to worry about a bill that you can't pay because you didn't want to speak up. I have been in restaurants where I've sat next to people in another booth where they got into arguments. I mean, serious arguments over splitting a tab. And the people I'm with, we're sitting there, we're watching and we're listening. Other people are watching and listening. And one particular time, it almost came to blows because two people said they were not splitting the bill. They were each going to pay what they ordered. And everyone else just blew up at them. And they pointed out, "Well, I had this and I had that." One person had like chicken tenders or something and some lemonade. Another person, I don't know, had a plate of pasta or something. Everybody else had bought all this other expensive stuff. They ordered all this expensive stuff. They were ordering bottles of wine, all this other stuff. And they're like, "Why are we paying that?" And they said their bill came to like $25. Person with the chicken tenders, I think they said, they're like, "My bill's only $15. Why am I paying an extra 50?" So they end up getting up to go to get the waiter so they can pay their half. And two of the people followed them. I mean, literally, this was at a nice restaurant, and this is what was going on. And I'm just sitting there. And I said to the people I was with, "This is why I say separate tabs." Or this is why, if the bill is not, if everyone didn't pretty much order the same thing, I'm not paying for you. Unless I said I pick up the tab, I'm not paying for you. I have watched employers over the years cross so many boundaries with employees where employees were near tears because they were told they had to stay late and they had to pick their kid up from school. Now, schools nowadays are not like schools back in the day. Um, you know, people are not uh, uh, waiting for you for hours to pick up your kid from school. Nowadays, you don't pick your kid up from school or whatever. They start charging you. You know, and it it gets to the point. Welcome everyone who has come in. I am streaming across a couple of platforms here. Let's see. Uh, I'm streaming across 3 platforms here. So whichever platform you're on, let's see, hold on here. Whichever platform you're on, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, I have seen, you know, employers take advantage of employees. But these employees didn't want to say anything. They didn't want to go to human resources. And it's gotten to the point where, here in the United States, um, people, people have just gone crazy wanting their employees to step up. You're not being part of the team. But you're not paying me. You are not paying me to step up. You're not paying me to stay late. You know, but no one wants to say anything. No one wants to say anything. No one wants to tell these people, no, I can't stay. I have other commitments. I'm one of those people who will tell you. I am one of those people who will tell you. I cannot stay. I am that person who will not join in the department potluck. Because number one, I'm not eating somebody else's food because I don't know how it was cooked. And with people nowadays, they're just nasty. I'm not joining in with that. Will I take some food? Nope. I didn't bring food. I'm not taking food. I'm that person who will bring my own little whatever. I'll go to the break room, heat it up in the microwave, and I'm good. Years ago, I had I was working at a company, and they had their little department potluck, and I did not participate. And when my review came, I was deemed for that. And I pushed back on that. And I pushed back on it because of the fact that why do I have to, why am I required to spend my money or to cook something and bring it in? You did not give me any money to cook. You did not give me money to go and pick something up from the store. You're crossing into my personal back boundaries. And at the time, I wasn't cooking much at home. So if I'm not cooking much at home, why am I going to come back and cook for 20 people? Well, that's not the point. Well, no, it is the point. And if I don't want to, eat anything, well, you can at least try a dish. I don't want to try a dish. I don't want to eat your food. I pushed back on that hard. And it was taken off of my review because that comment brought my review down. I hit every other milestone. I hit every other thing I was supposed to do. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. But you're going to ding me because I didn't cook some food? And it may seem silly. And, looking back on it, I can laugh, sort of. But you were crossing a boundary. I don't like those. I don't like those secret Santas. I don't like having to do all that department, feel good stuff. Come to work, a job, I want to get paid, and that's it. If I want to join you for happy hour after work, I will do that. But don't make it a requirement. Don't make something that is not part of my job description and you're stepping into my world a requirement. But people do that. You go to work and people expect you to share. They want you to share your life. There are people who are just department gossips. And they will do everything they can to find out about you. Stop worrying about me and mind your business. But people don't do that. Let me start getting some of these comments up here. People don't do that. Hey, Savage. People don't do that. People make assumptions about you. I had someone tell me, who's a friend, over and over and over again, or ask me over and over again. But then they started telling me, oh, if you need help, no, I'm sorry, I don't need help. If I need help, I'll ask. Oh, if you need help, no, if I need help, I'll ask. And she just kept going on and on and on. And then finally it was, well, people like you, even though you need help, you're too proud to ask for help. And, finally I told her, I said, you're pushy. You're pushy. I don't need help. I have an assistant. This is for a business that I have. I have an assistant. I don't need help. Oh, well, I didn't know you had it. But you know what? I should not have gotten to that point. It was none of your business if I have an assistant, if I don't have an assistant, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm staying up, 72 hours straight with no sleep. If I say I don't need any help, I don't need any help. But people just keep pushing you. They push, they push, they push, they push, they push. To the point where you're almost being strangled. To the point where it's It's like I can't breathe. It's like you honestly just can't breathe because people just keep pushing and they don't stop. And like I said, then when you get pissed off and you get mad or you get aggressive, they're pissed off. They're mad. They're mad because you got mad because they crossed your boundary. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how I'm going to get dinged for you crossing my boundary. Tell me how that works. Tell me. How are you going to get mad at me because I ask you not to do something? How are you going to get mad at me because I don't want to pay for something? About 15 years ago, I took a trip to Oregon. And I was going with a friend. And we were looking at various airlines and what have you. And, I said, oh, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, make my reservations. And she says to me, well, you can just buy my ticket and I'll pay you back later. I looked at her, I said, what? And she said, yeah, just when you buy your ticket, buy mine and I'll pay you later. And I said, no. I said, you buy your own ticket. And she says, well, how come you just can't buy mine when you buy yours? I said, I'll tell you what, why don't you buy the tickets? You buy my ticket and I'll pay you back. Deer in the headlight look. She got quiet. I said, what's wrong? Oh, well, I said, oh, so I'm supposed to spend my money and wait for you to pay me back. I need my money just as much as you need yours. I went on that trip by myself. Had a great time. She was pissed at me for a long time. Didn't care. We're talking, seriously. I don't understand how people think that they can just cross this line. 。 and you're not going to say anything, that you're not going to have any consequences for crossing a boundary. But unfortunately, people allow people to cross. Hell yeah, Alicia, you're damn right. you know, um, people people they allow it. They allow people to cross these boundaries. People people allow it. And then they get upset. They'll come back. Oh, well, so and so did this, so and so did that. Well, did you tell them stop? Well, did you tell them no? Um, well, did you tell them you don't like it? Uh, okay. And like I said, some individuals are more vigilant and even aggressive about their firewalls, which can lead to discomfort, if not conflict, with others. I'm one of those aggressive people. I will tell you. I will tell you. And some people some people can't they they can't deal with it. Okay. And like I said, earlier, you have men that don't know how to take a hint, don't know how to take no, when they're trying to talk to women. You have women who are pushy with men. They don't know when to stop. Everybody needs boundaries. Like I said, your children need boundaries. Children definitely need boundaries from adults. There are adults who cross those boundaries with children into things where they should not. Spouses need boundaries with each other. Older adults, adult children need boundaries from their parents, and vice versa. You have that parent who still wants to control your life, and you're 40, when your, 70-year-old mother or father are still trying to control your life. But some people get into that because you allow it. Now, when you're a child, you only have so much power. There's only so much that you can do. And there's not much you can do, unfortunately. But when you get to be an adult, you control the narrative of your life. You may not be able to control all of it. Like if you go into the military or something, they're going to be controlling your life for certain things, whatever. But I hope you all get what I mean. You know, um, and sometimes you have to step away Sometimes you have to step away from people to maintain your boundaries. Sometimes it means you have to go no contact with people to maintain those boundaries. But if it means that you're able to, uh, what's the word I want to use? If it means that you're able to keep your peace, your mental health, just being able to breathe by stepping back from people, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. And there's nothing wrong with stepping back. There's nothing wrong with stepping back from certain people, from certain situations, to maintain those boundaries. I know people who have quit their jobs because it was just too much between the boss and the coworkers. People have just they just quit. Some people do that quiet quitting. Some people, I know of two people that I know who have told me that they just walked out, went to lunch, and never went back. Because while they were sitting, literally eating, they were like, "What the hell am I doing at that job?" And of course, their phone starts to blow up. Their boss wants to know where they are, or you don't get that raise that you should have received. And you say, "Okay, fine, you quit." And all of a sudden, the boss realized, how important you are. Uh, you know, um, uh, and all of a sudden they um, want you to come back, but you're like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope." And the thing about it is, when you tell people, when you give people a heads up of what you're not going to do, or you give people a heads up of what you don't like, and you keep saying, "I don't like this, I don't want to do this, whatever," and they continue to do it, and all of a sudden they're surprised because you took action and you said, "Well, I told you." See, I'm that person. I will tell people. I will tell people. I will tell people. And if you don't listen to me, see, because one thing that I do try to do, and this doesn't make me perfect or anything, but I do try to do this. I do try to listen to people when they say, "I'm not doing this, I don't like that, whatever." I try to listen to them. They're saying for a reason. But you have those people who go, "Oh, it's no big deal." I don't know how many times I've heard that from people. "Oh, it's not such a big deal. It's not a big deal." Maybe not to you, but it is to me. Or something may be a big deal to you that may not be a big deal to me. But if it's a big deal to you, okay, I'm gonna not do it. I don't want people riding in my car that have on a lot of cologne or perfume or whatever. It gives me a headache and it stays in your car forever. And I will tell people, no, can't ride with me. Your cologne is too strong. Oh, it's not that big. It's a big deal to me. I don't want to smell it. It's giving me a headache. I don't want it in my car. You know how some people go to hug you, their scent and their cologne is just so overpowering that it stays on you. I don't want to walk around smelling like that. Even that to me is crossing a boundary. If you don't bathe and you're walking around, for lack of a better term, funky. Now, there are people who don't have access to soap and water. I understand that. But if you do and you just choose not to bathe and you choose to smell the way you do, and you're coming into my space, I'm going to say something. I will not, I will try not to embarrass you, but I know someone to this day who does not bathe. She does not bathe. And when she does, it's that superficial stuff. You know, she'll wash her face. But she will tell you she doesn't believe in bathing on a consistent basis. We've talked about it. I've asked her, how often do you bathe? And she literally said like once a month, where she actually bathes. I don't go over her house. She invited me one time and I literally had to leave. It was nauseating because of the smell, the stench of unwashed bodies. I kid you not. She is not invited into my home. And she knows why. And she thinks I'm being mean. She thinks I'm being cruel. But why should I have to deal with that? Why should I have to deal with, um, you know, why, why should I have to deal with that? Why should other people have to deal with that? She's been fired from jobs because of her hygiene. One company she took to court. She lost. There are so many boundaries out there that people, um, there are so many boundaries out there that people cross. Some people just let them go. Some people don't. Some people want to keep pushing, 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 pushing until the other person snaps, until the other person pushes back in a way that it does become rude or it is aggressive. I would not have had to get aggressive if you hadn't pushed so much. You have people who cross boundaries with their children where they want you to babysit. And for some reason, with everything that has happened post COVID, with people still working from home, people seem to think that if you work from home, you don't have anything to do. That you can just watch someone's kid. Or you can do this and you can do this. They don't realize that, some people are actually working. People have those assumptions. Oh, well, you can do this. Oh, well, you can do that. And when you put those boundaries up, you become the villain. You become the bad guy. You become the unreasonable one. You're at fault. You're the problem. They don't see they're the problem. Alicia, I'm assuming that you're saying gross about the not washing. I'm assuming that. I can't remember if I put this comment up or not. Um, but people are people are just pushy. They're just I I'm somebody who I just like my space, and I try to give other people theirs. Now, I will invite people places. I will ask them if they want to do something, but I only ask twice. After the second time, I don't ask anymore because I don't want to appear pushy. You may not want to go. You may not be interested. It could be something that you can't afford, whatever. I'll ask twice. After that, I don't ask anymore. If it's something that you want to do, you bring it up. Boundaries matter, people. Boundaries matter. Boundaries are important. People need boundaries. People need to respect other people's boundaries. People need to understand that you just cannot trample in other people's space. But people do. People make assumptions. They make assumptions about your time. They make assumptions about your money. They make assumptions on how you supposedly feel. how you're supposed to react, how you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to exist. But people um, need to respect other people's boundaries. Because when you don't, you have problems. And sometimes those problems can turn into tragedies. I mean, even when you're, this road rage thing, when you cut somebody off, you're that's a boundary issue to me. But there are times when, things can get really, you know, tense. That girl you keep trying to talk to and she keeps telling you no, it can get ugly. Hell, pets have boundaries. You keep crossing into their space and keep doing things they don't like, your pet can turn on you. It happens. Boundaries are important. You want your boundaries respected, respect other people's. Simple as that. And on that note, y'all, we're going to go to the timeline. Okay, so my timeline today, and I usually say if I'm taking me in 2025, and if I can go back in time, what would I change? And a friend of mine was watching these episodes, and she says, "I'm surprised you haven't brought up slavery." And I didn't forget about it, but I was waiting to do it. And I am bringing it up today. If I could go back in time, me in 2025, I would go back, all the way back to 1510, 1500s, 1400s, whatever. And I would go back to Africa. And I would tell them that there's a darkness coming. There's evil and violence coming. Now, don't get me wrong. People in Africa, they fought amongst each other. They took slaves. I mean, every continent or every group of people, they do. But I would tell them that there is an evil coming that is going to be so just evil and violent. You need to be prepared. You need to fight. You're going to have to fight back. I would go back in time and I would tell them that. I would go back in time where slavery never happened. It didn't exist. That you didn't have people coming, you didn't have the white man coming over into Africa and taking, black people back to the Caribbean, to Europe, to the Americas. It would mean that I personally, I'm sorry, my hair's sticking out. I'm looking at that. Um, that I personally would not exist. I realize that. But I would go back in time and I would tell the people of Africa to fight these people because it's evil. And in the same breath, I would go back to the Native Americans and I would tell them to fight for this land, fight for your land, fight for the America that is yours. Do not allow these people to get off the boat. Do not allow these people to step foot in America. This country would be so different if there were no slavery. This country would be so different if Native Americans were not forced off their land. We would have species of animals that were not extinct because of greed. We would have, you know, more than likely, I'm assuming, that America would be a country that you would have shopping malls all over the place. You have an administration who wants to go in and start chopping down these redwood trees. Want to drill in protected areas. That's what I would do. Me in 2025 would go back to the continent of Africa and let them know that a storm is coming. A storm is coming that is so vile, that is so wicked, that it must be stopped at all costs. And the same thing for Native Americans. Like I said, I probably would not be here, but that's okay. But I think if people were honest, and I hear that a lot, be honest, be honest, be honest. If people were honest, they would really take a look at this world and really see why it is the way it is. The greed, the violence, all the appropriations that were done. You really take a look at why this world is the way that it is. We all know the answer. I said it once, I'll say it again. Whoever you believe in created this world, whether you believe in God, Buddha, energy, whatever. This entire planet needs to be wiped out. All of us. We all need to be wiped out and start over. And maybe, just maybe, the next time, maybe the next time, we can get it right. Because right now, People, we're failing. The human race is failing. And it is our fault. It is our collective fault because we're allowing it. Some people don't care. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, on that note, everyone, I will be back on Saturday, December 20th, for Friendly Differences podcast. It will be streamed across Friendly Differences podcast on YouTube, on My Turn to Talk on YouTube, and on Ghost Claw Productions Radio, also on YouTube. We also have to give a plug for Smooth California, how skin should be. Smooth California, smoothca.online. And here are a couple of things. They have Soft, which is their body butter. I will show that. And these are their signature products. And Calm, which is their face cream. It's amazing. You should try it. Smooth California's natural skincare. Create a healthy skin lifestyle. Smooth California is a family-owned skincare formula whose main purpose is to promote a healthy skincare lifestyle. Smooth California is a healthy alternative to commercial products filled with chemicals and man-made additives that not only do damage to your skin, but your body as well. Smooth California products are tallow-based and made with 100% natural ingredients without preservatives or additives. They strive to make sure your skin stays healthy and smooth. And again, Smooth California, how skin should be, smoothca.online, and they also have a Himalayan body scrub, which is the bomb. Y'all, I'm telling y'all need to check these products out. Seriously. And for the month of December, they are offering 25% off of their entire product line. Correction, everything that is $6 and up is 25% off. So, with that note, everyone, again, I will see you on Saturday. My Turn to Talk. It will be a fun show where we will be talking about feet. So, until next time, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. Peace.